We were talking about how people need to refocus their lives and their investments because we're in an existential war, and investing is kind of one of the critical disciplines that we have to have.
Correct.
But people are ready to do that on their own. They want a little bit of hand-holding. So we've started the NSIC Institute to train financial advisors, accountants, stockbrokers, financial planners, insurance agents, whoever people turn to help them with their money, to educate them a little bit more. And we've asked you to be an advisor, and you're on our board of advisors now. Can you tell us what lessons you've had from your Air Force training background that we'll be able to apply into our NSIC training for advisors?
Well, I would tell you that what you do is you take a look at the tools you have in front of you and you use them in new, novel, and useful ways to solve the problem. So the tools in front of us is that every kid in America has a smart device and they have access to an internet. And even though the internet is not perfectly secure, it is a modality to get to information and learn in ways that no generation has had before our time. So that's what I like about what you're doing at Liberty University and with this curriculum, is that you're not only teaching the PhD level leadership on how to operationalize investment and understanding of finance to be successful at winning this long-term fight, but we have the opportunity to chunk this education down, or at least make it bite-sized, so that any American, no matter how busy they are, can say, I want to be a smart investor, and I want to know how my investment can protect our Constitution, our economy, and our values. And you can teach them using their devices, using virtual reality, augmented reality, some of the artificial intelligence coaching, and give them case studies. It's amazing how quickly the human brain can learn if it's mechanized properly.
Now, you saw a lot of transition when you were doing your Air Force training, from when you began to when you retired. You made some significant changes. Tell us about those.
Well, we took advantage of these tools. So instead of taking a person off the street and throwing them in an aircraft and taking flights that are very expensive in fuel and machinery to see if the person had the right stuff, now we can put them into a virtual environment using software that rings out that same insight, and we don't have to be unsafe by taking them in the air. We don't have to spend a lot of gas or time or wear the equipment down, and then we get the insights before we put them in the aircraft. This is how the airlines do it as well. It's just a new way of learning. It's all about how aggressively the human brain can learn if you optimize giving control to the student to learn what they need to learn and know what they need to know.
Sure, and we're going to take dual track. We're going to have a track for the investors, and then the more sophisticated track, the hand-holding track, will be for the advisors, so that they're there to help the investors. And so we're trying to encourage everybody to not only take the track. Economic War Room does a lot of this education, but we're going to tie it down for investors and then go beyond that for advisors.
Well, I appreciate that. I tell you, the one attribute that's most important that we discovered in the military is you need to also incentivize the culture so that the people doing this are aggressive learners. Lazy learners do not do well. We need a whole society of aggressive learners, understanding that our society is at risk. And if we don't all pitch in and learn, we're going to have a price tag that's too high to pay.
Yeah. Well, we've gone through a post-pandemic. And we've seen education changing dramatically from that. You know, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that we'll be able to go to an online training program primarily?
There's one thing we know about learning, and that is the most powerful learning is when one set of human eyeballs is physically looking at another set of human eyeballs, querying, questioning, and testing their thinking. So virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and online learning are all good, but none of them replace. They can only accelerate the learning. You need some face-to-face. The question is, what proportion? And the answer is, you can do a lot online where everybody can learn, and then you can find the ones that have the magic sauce, the right stuff that you bring together for the human touch to finish the job.
Yeah, well, that's why we partner with Liberty University. I guess they have close to 100,000 online students, but they also have on-campus students, and they've tried to find that right mix.